Do you hate yourself? Do you play games such as Rust, Warzone, and League of Legends? Does your doctor prescribe this as a life-ruining addiction? Do you want another life-ruining addiction? Welcome to Factorio. In this video, I crash land on an unknown planet, ruin thousands of homes just to make sure that I live in comfort. How do we do this? By killing all these quadruped, shell-covered vermin. These things right now could ruin me in a single moment. That's why, not gonna talk to them yet. Now, when I started this world, I had a total of 7 hours. 7 hours to make this. Yeah, not very good. But this time, I had a goal. Right now, I need to get weapons. What do we start with? A pistol. This stinky little pistol won't do us any good. But my mouth can do some damage. Now that I've eaten this nest, I'm still hungry. Now, hunger aside, we have many other choices for weapons, like the pistol, the submachine gun, the shotgun, the combat shotgun, the flamethrower, and the rocket launcher. I didn't even touch these three. Right now, we are here. We want to be here. The rocket launcher. But this rocket launcher, good, still not strong enough. So there's something above us. The artillery turret. That is the goal. That is what I need. Artillery is a tool that will let me claim this planet as my own. Now, to get to this artillery, we're gonna need a few things. These bottles full of juice are necessary for me to get artillery. Each one I unlock gets me closer to my paradise, with none of these crustaceans. So let's begin. I started a world, got my resources, got some power, and then I restarted. Why? I actually don't remember. When I started filming this video, it was around mid-August, and now when I'm editing this video, it was a while ago. So, let me begin. Started a new world, got my resources, got my power, and then I set up my red science. And then after I set up my red science, I just kinda sat there. Of course, not knowing much about the game, I didn't really try to start off super quick, and most of my starting hours were just kind of... Now, after waiting for a while, I finally got green science. And now that I had green science, I could automate it a little bit more. And with this automation, I decided to make my factory a little funny shaped. But it didn't really work out. But now with green science automated, I decided to craft my first weapon. The submachine gun. And now, I could use a submachine gun for protection. I could use it. I could use it for protection. And a little more. Now, with this improved weaponry, I was a lot more confident in expanding my base. But of course, even when expanding my base, people are bound to come by. Now, the question is, why do the bugs come to my base and attack? It's because of this. Pollution. This big yummy cloud of black smog, oh, thank you, that goes over their nests and fills up their lungs and it's not, they don't like it, you know. It's not my fault. Now after my 30 minutes of hard work, I finally returned to my perfectly beautiful factory to get an alert. They were here for revenge. They decided that the best course of action was to eat my factory. Now of course I kindly asked them to stop, and they're my neighbors, so we gotta stay a little respectful to each other. But once they left, I decided maybe I should go talk to them. But they didn't like that, and they chased me away. Very kindly. Again and again and again. I didn't like this. That's why I made sure they would never see the outside world ever again. I placed walls to block out their sunlight. I placed guns to hold them in their cage. And I made sure to keep making bullets and to feed them to each turret one by one to make sure they can never outproduce a far superior being. And it was finally done, my magnum opus, in all its glory. I accidentally killed one of the nests, and so it's not as funny anymore. But yeah. But now we can move on to black science. Oh yeah, and I also got rid of the other factory too. And then these factories sucked, so I replaced them again. That's not the only reason I replaced them. We now have explosives. Now, to make explosives, we need sulfur. And we make sulfur up here. So how do I bring the sulfur from all the way up here to the factory all the way down here where the rest of my materials are? Trains are unimaginably helpful in the late game and even transporting goods from there to here. Trains are super duper good, especially when you need to move a lot of things from here to here, or from here to here, or from here to here. But here's a question. How confusing are trains in real life? Pretty confusing. And Factorio is much easier to understand when it comes to trains. Does that matter to me? No. And especially with my about 12 hours of playtime at this point, it did not make me happy.
It's not that hard! Why can't I put this on this side? Hey, so how are you... You have a whole new railway to go on! And it doesn't make sense! Get it! But there's nothing in the blue! There is nothing! What is stopping this train? You have a full railway! You are literally sitting on the track.
Anger is never the answer. Especially when the only thing I needed to do was That was all I had to do. That was all I had to do, and I couldn't do it because I am the single dumbest person to ever play this game.
The missile knows where it is at all times. It knows this because it knows where it isn't.
Now that we finally have the sulfur and the other stuff down at the factory, I can finally start making some rockets. And with the rockets, I knew exactly who to test them on. Sure, they do a lot more damage than the submachine gun. The second the crowd forms, you kinda just... And one rocket a bug isn't a very good deal. So we just cram some more explosives into the same rocket and boom, explosive rockets. With this, I can start killing even more bugs. But what's the point of rockets if I get hurt? That's where this comes in. The tank. Now, the tank is pretty good, but it is just not as satisfying as shooting the rocket with my own hands. So, what did I do for the rest of that day? Now, do you all remember when at the very start of this video I told you I had about 7 hours in the game? And that I didn't research into this at all or look into how big the map really was? Do you remember? I don't. I don't remember saying that. Maybe I should have said that. Especially because, do you realize how big the Factorio map is? This footage you're seeing is me dying to a horde almost 1.5 kilometers away from my base. And that trek alone took me maybe 4 minutes with detours. And the Factorio map, at its full size, is 2,000 by 2,000 kilometers. So let's calculate this real quick. I put a red line from here to here. This is me fully zoomed out of the map. If I wanted to reach the end of the map by just going up, not to the sides, not under me, just going up in a straight line, this red line would, where is it? Where is it going? No, 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 it can't be this far.
Yeah.